Yo, what is up YouTube? It's your boy Legend and I'm back with another video. What if Naruto grew up Merciless part 26? Now I know I've been going for a minute, about a little bit over a month. Sorry for that. I've been dealing with a couple things, been starting my own business, dealing with that, dealing with females, dealing with doctors and my medication and stuff like that. But let's just get back into the flow of things and let's just get into this intro so we can start this what if. Alright guys, we start this episode off with Naruto. He stood in the basement with Araya, Gaara, Konohamaru, Sakura, and Kurenai, and they were going over their plans to destroy the stone outpost. Naruto then looked up, done talking about the plans, but now he had other things to address. He looked to Araya. How's our guest? Is she a loose end, or is she stable? Araya smirked. It was one of those smirks that said, "You're going to regret asking that question." Oh, she's very stable and leaving is the last thing on her mind. After all, I did eat her out to the point where she was unable to form words. Blushes were on the faces of everyone except for Naruto, who had a hand on his head. She did not just have the balls to say that aloud. Okay, Araya, I didn't ask for the extra information, but thanks. Now, Konohamaru, everyone raised an eyebrow as Naruto's voice because it became serious as his gaze shifted. Your girlfriend, do you know her? Everyone raised an eyebrow at the brain dead question. Everyone except Araya. Before you answer that question, I mean, do you really know her? Where she's from? What she works as? Stuff like that. Now that Konohamaru thought about it, he didn't at all. All he knew was that they were madly in love with each other. No, I don't, said Konohamaru. Naruto took a deep breath before he spoke. She is a Kumo shinobi, one who tried desperately to take my life. This shocked everyone except for Araya. Konohamaru took it the worst. No, that's impossible. She wouldn't. Konohamaru, I don't forget a chakra signature. She tried to kill me while I was working on the village barrier, but that doesn't seem to be the case with you. She doesn't seem to want to kill you. Kurenai then spoke up. Are you trying to say that Konohamaru is an accomplice of hers? That is far from what I'm saying, Kurenai. But, Konohamaru, she may have tried to kill me, but she genuinely seems to love and care about you. Some of you may say otherwise, but love is an emotion that you can't fake, especially if she threatens to kill me if I don't bring him back in one piece. But I hope nothing but the best for the two of you. Konohamaru was happy to hear this from a former teacher of his, and a tear fell from his eye. It didn't matter if she was a Kumo ninja, because if she would have told him that off the rip, he wouldn't have fell in love with her. Now, Kurenai, you may be an academy teacher, but please tell me you kept up with your training. Kurenai only looked at Naruto before he found everything going dark, and then he saw it. The nine-tailed fox being pushed outside of the village by Sarutobi as Minato flashed next to him a moment later holding a very weak Kushina. They exchanged a few words, then Minato was gone in a flash. Naruto smiled as he started to gather his chakra and broke the genjutsu. Impressive. Your hand signs were either very fast, or you just used none at all. If you were a fire style user and had perfect aim with shuriken, I think you were an Uchiha. Kurenai smiled at the praise as Naruto turned to Sakura. She immediately straightened up. Have you found a taijutsu style that fits you better than mine? Sakura grinned, and that was all the answer that Naruto needed, and they all started to head out for their mission. As they arrived at the gate, Naruto stopped them all and spoke. This mission isn't given to us by the Hokage, but by me as Shadow Hokage. No matter what happens, I will protect all of you and make sure you all make it back alive, even if it cost of my life or me getting captured. Araya snorted. Really? You think you have to shoulder the burden of looking out for everyone? You say it like me and Gaara here don't exist. Kurenai, the one who would die for touching moments like this one, was annoyed. Way to ruin the moment, loudmouth. Now, can we leave now? Naruto facepalm. She just insulted the person she'd be working with. The only way things could get any worse is if Sakura punched him in the face and Konohamaru makes Gaara bleed somehow. Before anything else could happen, Naruto intervened. Okay, let's go. I have other things to attend to, and we need to stop at Taki along the way to pick someone up. They all moved, not realizing that high in the sky, Tomorrow followed as she flew on her fan. Everyone kept pace well, even Sakura with her baby-sized chakra reserves. Everyone jumped tree to tree as they made their way mile by mile. Time skip. Naruto and his group finally made it to Taki after some time. He could have made it there far faster, but he was traveling with a slower group who didn't have the stamina that he had. Naruto made his way forward with Sakura as the two approached the false entrance that was supposed to be guarded. But there was nobody here. Naruto turned to Sakura, but she looked just as confused as he did. We don't have time for this. Sakura, can you go back and get Kurenai? Sakura nodded and ran off and came back with the Genjutsu mistress seconds later. Kurenai, I need you to break the Genjutsu placed over this place. Kurenai looked at Naruto like he was crazy. What makes you think I can do that? In no way, shape, or form do I have enough chakra to do that. Even if I used all my chakra, it wouldn't be enough. Naruto placed a hand on her shoulder and began to channel his chakra. Who said you would do it alone? Kurenai nearly fell over at the amount of chakra rolling off of him, but she quickly composed herself. She channeled her own chakra while slowly taking in Naruto's chakra until her coils began to burn. No, they didn't burn. It was like having acid flow through her chakra network. She snapped her eyes open and released the chakra in a wave that shocked the entire area as the Genjutsu over Taki faded. Naruto caught Kurenai before she could fall as he gave her 2 chakra pills and took one for himself. Meanwhile, underground in the room, Mondis looked up as she felt a massive chakra pulse. Orochimaru also felt it, and a grin formed on his face as the two made their way up. Naruto and his group made their way inside and were horrified at what they saw. It was bloody. Bodies were mutilated with wooden spikes protruding from them, and some were neat with only small slashes. Others had burns from fire and lightning jutsus, and some had chakra burns. Meanwhile, Orochimaru and Mondis walked past the test room as a green-haired girl screamed through her gag as she was strapped down to a bed. Her hair was in shambles. Blood covered her body. The seal to hold the 7 tails was nearly broken as the black ink ran down the side of her stomach. In short, she looked like utter shit. Araya activated her dojutsu as her eyes widened. Naruto heard something whistling through the air. As he grabbed Sakura and Kurenai and jumped back. If he were a second later, the three of them would be pinned to the ground with wooden spikes. Naruto looked up and his eyes filled with rage at seeing her. The two of you are still living. I was sure you would be dead. Naruto's gaze then landed on Orochimaru as his anger got even worse at what he had done to Anko. He wanted these two dead, and they were obviously the ones who came and done this to Taki. Araya stepped next to Naruto after seeing the new abilities that Orochimaru had. All of you, get away from this village and let me and Araya handle this. Kurenai was about to protest, but Sakura stopped him. Kurenai-sensei, you remember when me, Hinata and Naruto all came back to the village in critical condition, correct? She nodded. She was the one who did it. Right now, if we all stay here, we would simply get in the way. Let them handle this. Kurenai was baffled. She knew how strong Naruto was when he and Sasuke had came back to the village after their 3-year trip. And he was not to be taken lightly at all. But for this woman who stood in front of them to put him and his team in the state that they lay between life and death, you had to be at least Kage level. The rest of Naruto's current team left the village while Temari landed in a nearby tree to observe and step in when needed. Which one do you want, Naruto? Naruto glared holes at Mondis. Orochimaru seems to have one of my weaknesses in his back pocket, so I'll let you take this one. With that, the two moved off. It was nothing but streaks of color that moved through the air. Naruto jumped back, his lightning cloak dancing on his frame as he extended 2 fingers. Pointed wind. Mondis moved as she sidestepped and appeared in Naruto's guard. You are very slow. Naruto smirked. She fell right into his trap. Her hand morphed into a lance. As she went to thrust forward, Naruto changed the direction of his fingers as the Winjutsu followed sharply, cutting through everything in its way like butter. Mondis soon noticed that if she didn't move, she'd be cut clean in half at the waist. Mondis jumped back, taking notice that he pretended to be slower than he was, just to get her close enough. Meanwhile, Araya slipped past the blade of Orochimaru, and she ducked as a wooden spike flew past her. It flew past where she was before. She then slammed a fist into his face that was enhanced with chakra. The mere force of the hit rivaled that of Tsunade's. Orochimaru flipped and landed, sliding back in the process as he went through hand signs. But to his surprise, his hands were grabbed as he looked down and saw a spear of lightning through his gut. I saw this outcome before it even happened. Araya then sidestepped as another Orochimaru shot from his mouth. Araya blinked. She did not just see what she thought she just saw. No, there was no way that even happened. But she couldn't deny, because even though she wasn't facing him at all, she saw him stand as he picked up his sword. Back with Naruto, he had to tap into the KCM once this woman took it to a step further. She was currently using the curse mark, along with Hashirama's Senjutsu, giving her a ridiculous amount of power. The grass around her was dying rapidly. And then she moved. Naruto pulled his Tanto as it lit up with the glow of the KCM. Naruto moved as well, and Mondis thrust her lance-like appendage forward, but Naruto saw an opening, and at the speed they were moving, he couldn't dodge. He brung his Tanto forward to clash, but to his surprise, it split right through her lance. Thinking fast, Naruto pushed forward, cutting all the way through, up to her shoulder as he held out his hand. Massive Rasengan! Naruto slammed the slightly bigger Rasengan into her as she was blown back. Naruto held his hand out again as he flared his chakra wildly as he broke through 3 layers of genjutsu, wind style, Rasen Shuriken. Everything then froze as the image began to crack before it shattered and Naruto saw his Rasen Shuriken flying off into the distance. He was confused until he heard a bone-chilling voice behind him. I must praise you. You fight well, but you dispelled 3 layers of genjutsu, not all 4. Watching from the tree, Tamari decided that she needed to intervene. She fully opened her fan and looked off into the distance. Flashback. Tamari was mesmerized by the new Rasengan that Naruto showed her. So much so that she begged him to teach it to her. That results were bad, but she found out that once he released the jutsu, she could make it her own and vice versa. As the two did a dangerous chakra control exercise that involved throwing a rotten shuriken back and forth. Back to the present. Mondis' arm had fully healed, and now she was about to stab Naruto through the throat as he lay pinned to the ground. As he held on to the lance, it then started to morph as his eyes widened as it got longer. He then heard the sound. The sound was very familiar as he looked up to see his Rasen Shuriken come full circle. Naruto didn't think as he redirected Mondis' arm, grabbed her by the elbow, disentangled their legs, and gave one hard kick to her hip as she was lifted above him. He then flew through hand signs for the final push. Wind style, great breakthrough. Mondis was launched right into the path of the Rasen Shuriken, but she nearly turned her head to look at the oncoming S-rank jutsu as she put 2 fingers to her lips. Dragon Flame Bomb. She weakened the jutsu as much as possible, but in the end, it only cut through her flames and slammed into her as a dome of wind and fire engulfed her. Naruto turned his head to see a pair of godlike legs as he looked up at Tamari. I thought I said stay home. Tamari gave a sneer. Yeah, if I would have stayed home, you would have died. And I don't plan on letting the man that I love die anytime soon. Naruto was about to speak, but he had to focus as the dome of wind and fire just dissipated. Damn, this is getting annoying. Tamari, cover me from a distance. Naruto moved as Tamari opened her fan. Mondis wouldn't get the chance to heal at all. The KCM flickered back to life on Naruto as he increased his speed. Mondis looked up and caught Naruto's fist, but her hand was violently ripped to shreds by wind chakra emanating from him. Mondis dressed back as Naruto pulled a chakra suppression tag from his pouch. Mondis saw this and extended 2 fingers. Pointed wind. Naruto's eyes widened as he had to dress back. How the hell did she just copy his damn jutsu? Naruto jumped back as Tamari swung her fan. Rumbling fan wind wall. Naruto went through hand signs. Lightning style. Vicious current. The 2 jutsus merged and created a deadly combination. But Tamari wasn't done at all. Fire style. Burning missile. Tamari spewed out a jet of red fire as the deadly tornado absorbed the fire, making it stronger. The now red crackling twister was only a few feet from Mondis as it closed the distance rapidly. This jutsu had no known counter. You could not use wind because the heat of the twister would make the air thin and unbreathable. Water would evaporate a few feet before it even touched the twister. Earth would just be absolutely obliterated by the lightning, and it wouldn't even push the jutsu. The jutsu then exploded as it began to sear and burn everything near it. Tamari folded her arms and her fan back, but she was still alert. Naruto moved as he grabbed Tamari and leaped away with her, as Mondis came from underground attempting to slice Tamari's throat, but missed and grabbed Naruto's kunai pouch. You okay? She didn't cut you, did she? Not even a scratch? Tamari shook her head. She was fine. Why did it matter if she was even scratched? Maybe the woman's appendages were poisoned or something? Meanwhile, Orochimaru shed his skin again as he came up and blocked the kick. He went to do hand signs, but he was stopped again. "How are you doing that?" he yelled as he was punched in the face. It was like she knew when he was going to do hand signs, and she always stopped him. What made things even worse is that she didn't talk during the fight. She was only focused on him. Araya moved as Orochimaru smirked. He then pulled out a roll of explosive tags and dropped them as he moved away. That was a point-blank range explosion. There's no... Orochimaru was then grabbed by a white skeleton hand as the smoke cleared. Araya stood there with the ribcage of the Susanoo as she began to squeeze the life out of Orochimaru. But yet again, something burst from his mouth. But this time, it was one snake, and it shot into the ground before she could even react. Back with Naruto, he secretly created a clone as it went off. He was getting pissed. The way this woman just adapted to things was crazy as he got faster. So did she. On top of that, she kept healing while he continued to tire. Naruto and Temari were going to end this with one final attack. Lightning crackled in Naruto's hand as he formed a spear. Then wind encased it from Temari. From what Mondis saw, Naruto just combined two elements on his own. But she was wrong. Naruto dashed off as Temari controlled the wind from where she stood, as she readied her fan. But Mondis smirked. She then pulled out a roll of exploding notes that had 12, but Naruto immediately noticed one was gone. He then turned and saw the red paper of the note on Temari's sandal. He canceled the jutsu and moved as fast as he could. There was no time to talk. He had to get it off himself. The tag started to glow. "Come on, just a few feet. Come on, damn it," thought Naruto. Temari was confused as to why Naruto was coming at her so fast. He slammed into her, lifting her off the ground. Her feet were in the air. He quickly grabbed the tag and ripped it off. It all happened in slow motion. The tag exploded. Naruto was protected by his cloak, but Temari, she let out an agonizing scream. Her right leg, from the knee down, was gone. Naruto's eyes widened. If only he was faster. If only his Sage mode was ready. Naruto landed and immediately ripped off his forehead protector and used it as a tourniquet. Temari whimpered and squirmed in Naruto's arms. "Fucking Kami!" Temari reached down, and her hands were instantly covered with blood. "Temari, you're about to experience pain worse than what you're feeling right now." Naruto pulled off her forehead protector and put it in her mouth to bite down on. "Deep breath, Temari." Naruto pulled hard on his headband as it was tied around her thigh to stop the bleeding. The knot of the headband dug deep into her skin to the point of bruising as Temari screamed, while biting down on her own forehead protector. "Araya, go and get Gaara now!" Naruto was panicking more than Temari was, but Araya did as told. It was no time to be joking around. Naruto saw Temari starting to drift as he shook her. No. Don't close your eyes. Stay awake. Look at me. Just focus on me. Everything's going to be fine." Temari knew Naruto was panic talking, but she still loved him for the effort to soothe her. She knew she was most likely going to die. If it wasn't blood loss, then it would be infection. If not infection, then it would be shock. Temari gave a faint smile with half-lidded eyes. She didn't want to move. She felt exhausted and her eyes started to close again. Naruto shook her. Temari, wake up!" There was no response. No matter how much Naruto shook the lifeless form of the Wind Mistress, she gave no response. The Caesium around Naruto was gone now, as tears ran down his face as he hugged her body close to him. Mondis only watched, with her head tilted. She was weak. It was no surprise that she died, and you're weak for crying for such a weakling. Naruto's heart was overtaken by pure rage. This woman dared to insult Tamari. Mondes moved going to stab Naruto, but her dagger-like appendage was caught by another Naruto. Clone jutsu, with no hand sign. The clone kicked her away as she slid a great distance. And then the clone poofed away. Naruto then got the memory of another clone that he sent away as he looked up. And Naruto's mind escaped. Naruto stood in front of the bars that held Kurama. He walked up to them and placed a hand onto them as they turned to dust, and Kurama stepped out as the two bumped fists. In the real world, Naruto lit up with the KCM, now in KCM 3, having full mastery of the fox. The tape that held his bangs down snapped as they rose, looking like two golden horns. Naruto's weighted seals then broke as he popped his neck. He then activated his lightning cloak, further boosting his speed. Meanwhile, in Wave Country, Sasuke rose his head and looked in the direction of Grass Country. In Konoha, most of the shinobi stopped what they were doing and turned to face the direction of Taki. In Suna, Itachi, Konan, Shisui, and a few others looked in the direction of where Taki was. In Water Country, Neji, Jiraiya, and Mei turned in the direction of Grass Country. No matter where you were, if you had the slightest of ninja senses, you would feel the output of power Naruto was releasing from countries away. Back with Naruto, his attitude changed. He was no longer worried about going all out and hurting someone else. Now he was ready. Let me show you the power of Konoha Shadow Hokage. It happened in a second. Mondes didn't even realize Naruto even moved until he called the name of his technique. Lightning release. White Tiger. Naruto was above Mondes as a huge tiger head made from white electricity formed around Naruto's entire right arm. This was his strongest lightning technique, ranked as double S. It was a double-edged sword. It took a chunk from his chakra reserves. But in doing all of that, all other lightning-based jutsus were easy to do. The moment he released the White Tiger, Mondes jumped away, but was still hit by the area of effect of the jutsu. On impact, a massive dust cloud formed, and there were lightning sparks around the entire field due to the discharge of the jutsu. This is why all other lightning-based jutsus became easier. He would be able to use the residual chakra from the lightning jutsu to make other lightning techniques. Mondes stood. She was shocked. The amount of power was scary. Naruto pulled his tanto as he cut his hand and went through one-handed seals in the air with his blood. The kanji then formed and burned into the blade of the tanto as it glowed a little. In the blink of an eye, Naruto was gone and his tanto sliced into Mondes' flesh. She turned and got ready, but stopped. Why wasn't she healing? A small cut like this should have healed by now. You may be wondering why you're not healing. Well, it's simple. I sent a clone off to come up with the sealing formula to stop your healing factor. Once he came up with the formula, I got the memory shortly after you killed her. And now, I put that formula inside of your body when I cut you. In short, I'm gonna beat the hell out of you. Meanwhile, Gaara came running as he stopped. He saw the still form of Tamari. Anger filled him, but it barely showed as he just grit his teeth. Sand slowly started to pick her up as he brung her over. He looked up to see Naruto just blink away, and he decided to take her and leave, not noticing the small finger twitch from Tamari. Meanwhile, Naruto shot forward and Mondes did the same as her hand turned into a scythe as she swung, but instead of falling to the ground, Naruto just ran through her. After image, thought Mondis. She was then brutally punched in the face as some of her teeth fell out. Naruto moved again and spoke. Streamline form, magnetic slice. Naruto's Tanto started to pull in the nearby lightning chakra as he pointed it in Mondis' direction and moved. She didn't risk blocking, so she slammed her hand into the ground as a massive mud wall rose up. But to her surprise, Naruto ripped right through it with ease. No jutsu above A rank can be blocked. You have to dodge it. Naruto stooped low as Mondis blew out fire but missed. Naruto came up straight for her throat. She was wide open. Mondis canceled the jutsu and jumped away, but Naruto threw his Tanto at her. Streamlined form, lightning flail. A rope of lightning attached to the end of the Tanto as he swung it. Mondis ducked as some of her hair was cut off. Naruto canceled the jutsu and held out one hand as two clones formed and blinked away, leaving the real Naruto stationary. Tell Beast Rasen Shuriken. Mondis dispatched two of the clones quickly and looked up to see the jutsu coming straight for her. She had no time to dodge, so she simply cut herself and slammed a hand onto her summoning tattoo. Manda then arrived and took the jutsu head on and instantly died as he poofed away, leaving Mondis unscathed. Mondis moved off. She had to end this. She only needed one scratch. Naruto moved off as well, as the two were going head to head with Mondis' hand morphing into a sword. Naruto held out a hand as the surrounding lightning chakra started to take shape and form into Naruto's palm. The two thrust their attacks forward. Streamlined form. Electric Rasengan. Naruto's Rasengan completely obliterated her entire arm. Naruto looked down at his hand. She managed to cut him, but it didn't matter. He had a certain amount of immunity to her poison now. Mondis winced. That attack tore off some of her human flesh. She went to stand, but Naruto appeared in front of her in a streak of yellow as he stomped hard onto her leg, snapping it at the knee with a disgusting snapping sound. Mondis didn't scream, however, and this only fueled his anger. Do you hate me, Jinchuriki? Do you hate me for taking away the one you love? The one you adored? The one you would do anything for, including give your own life so she could live? Naruto said nothing as the remaining lightning chakra in the area surrounded his fist. Wind chakra surrounded his left one, and he sat down on her stomach. Naruto raised his fist and brung it down. Bam! 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 Naruto looked at his work. Her face was completely caved in, and the chakra around his hands had faded as he resorted back to his base form and panted a little. Using his self-created form of lightning-based ninjutsu type techniques and kenjutsu styles put a lot of strain on his body, so he was in pain at the moment. The movements may be linear, but they required you to move at speeds that some Kage couldn't even reach in their prime, on top of constant training. But the pain Naruto felt was nothing compared to his still boiling rage as he began to beat Mondis into the ground. With each hit that he landed on the now dead Mondis, her body would jolt and twitch from the force of the blows, and Naruto didn't stop as he continued for a while. Meanwhile, with Naruto's group outside of Grass Village, Temari opened her eyes. Naru-kun? Everyone stopped and turned to see Temari awake. They were shocked. They were positive that she had died. But it turns out that she had only passed out from the shock and pain. Araya stepped forward and smiled as she picked her up off of the sand. "Let's go see Naruto. He should be done fighting by now." Araya carefully jumped off along with everyone else as they quickly made their way to Naruto. When they arrived, they saw Naruto in a crater punching something, and he looked exhausted. "Naruto," called Araya. No answer. "Uzumaki," called Gaara. Still no response. Naruto just kept punching. Araya handed Tamari off to Gaara as she jumped into the crater and caught Naruto's wrist before he could punch again. Naruto stopped and looked at her, and what she saw scared her. He wasn't punching anything. Yeah, a body was under him, but the spot where he was hitting, the head was completely gone. He was only hitting the ground. "There's someone that wants to see you." Naruto calmed himself as he stood and walked out of the crater. He froze. His eyes had to be playing tricks on him. So he rubbed them, but no, Tamari was still there as she leaned on Gaara to support herself. Naruto took a step. He took a step back in shock as tears started to fall from his eyes as Tamari gave a smile. Then he moved faster than anyone could see as he was now hugging Tamari as he pressed his lips to hers and picked her up and spun her around. He didn't want to let her go. He thought he had lost her, but yet she was there. And well, he was grateful. He didn't even care for the mission anymore. Tamari happily returned to kiss as the two forgot about everyone as they all looked on with smiles. But one thing was for sure, Tamari's ninja career was officially over with her new handicap. But guys, I'm going to end it off right there. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe while you're at it, and without further ado, I'm out, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.